Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So it has actually been a little while since I last posted on this channel. Clearly I have a baby and I think the last video I posted I was pregnant with her. So as you can imagine, a lot was going on. You know, having a second baby, transitioning from one child to two children, it has all been wild. So nonetheless, this channel just kind of took a little pause, but I wanted to just hop on here for just like a sit down update video talking about Mila. She is 2 months old. I guess she's 2.5 months old. This was supposed to be a 2-month update, but it's 2.5 months, but you know. And then how I'm doing postpartum and that sort of thing. So if you haven't already met her, this is Mila. She is the sweetest little bean. She came into our lives on August 8th and we have just been loving on her ever since. So she's the sweetest girl. I will link up in the iCard my birth story, and a few other videos will be linked in the description box just to get caught up on my birth and everything with Mila. We vlogged the birth as well, so if you haven't seen that, definitely go check it out. It's very emotional, and so thankful that I have that footage with both of my daughters. So yeah, so we'll start with Mila updates. She is a healthy, sweet little girl. She's growing like a weed, growing so fast. I think a few people warned me that with your second kid, time goes by so much faster, and I would have to say that that's true. It has been like a blip, like so fast. I swear I just gave birth, but it's already been 2.5 months and the time is just going by so fast. She's growing really well. She is just starting to like get to that really cute fun stage where she's starting to interact a little bit more. So she smiles a ton, and we actually got her very first laugh a couple days ago, which was beyond adorable. And then of course she hasn't laughed since. I've been trying so hard to get her to laugh, but she hasn't laughed like a good laugh like that, like a belly laugh. She hasn't done that since, just a few chuckles. So we're working on that every single day. I'm like making a fool of myself trying to get her to laugh, but it's the best. That's the best sound. She's starting to play a little bit more. Like she'll be under her play mat and like whack at the like hanging toys that are right in front of her face, which is so fun. So it'll like entertain her for a little while. I would say her favorite thing in the world to do is to munch on her hands. Like you can probably see her in this video doing it right now. Like she loves to munch on those hands, which is so funny. Nova did some of that too, and we always say it's like she's licking her ice cream cone because she has like her hand like this and she's chewing on it. It's so cute. Little ice cream cone, huh? At her last weigh-in, which was a couple weeks ago, she was coming in at 11 pounds. So I'm not too sure what she is right now. I do have a scale, so I should get that out and try it. I think I need to change the batteries, but I would be curious to see what she is at now. But that means she's gained a few pounds since birth, so she's doing really good. And that leads me into breastfeeding. So breastfeeding this time around has been definitely a lot smoother than it was with my first daughter, Nova. I think the biggest difference just being that I had a fairly simple recovery this time around, whereas with my first birth I had a retained placenta, lost a lot of blood, and really struggled to keep up my supply. So this time around I feel like I don't have that disadvantage, so it's been going a lot smoother. We do have some like hard moments and some hiccups and some difficult times. Like for example, she had a tongue tie that we had a lactation consultant look at, and they decided that it was worthwhile to just snip it. So she's had that done. That was a little while ago, so she's been good ever since, and that helped with like the painful side of it for me, and then her getting like a good latch and stuff. So yeah, breastfeeding has been going well. She's exclusively breastfed. She's still a little unsure on bottles, and also she isn't really interested in a pacifier or a soother, which is funny because Nova definitely liked her pacifier. So there's like little differences. I try every now and then with her because it is like a handy tool. but she just like gags on it and like spits it out. So we will see as she gets older if she would maybe like it, or we'll see if we even need to use it. But yeah, no pacifier, no bottles for her so far, but she's still so young, so we'll see as she gets older. We have been going to physio for her because she did have a like slight torticollis on the right side, so she was like tight on the right side, and preferring to look right. So we got that kind of situated right away because I had that experience with Nova as well, and so I really just wanted to be on top of it. And so we're already, have been doing physio and chiro and all the things, and she's looking really good already. So we probably won't have to go back to physio too many times, which I'm really thankful for. And then we'll just, keep an eye on everything, but she's doing a lot better already. Oh, big yawn. That's a good segue for sleeping. She's actually a pretty good sleeper, I would say, for the most part. Pretty much since she was born, she has only wakes up once in the night and feeds, and then typically goes back to sleep fairly easily. She, there was a few weeks there where it was like a lot more wake ups or like harder to get her back down, but right now we're in a good rhythm. Even this week she slept through the night twice, which was pretty wild. And super nice. Thank you for that. But yeah, last night was back up to just one wake up. We seem to be going to bed for the night pretty, like she's still going to bed for the night pretty late, like 11:30 is usually when she's like finally like asleep for the night, and I can actually like start getting myself into bed. Like last night she woke up at like 5 a.m. and then fed, and then I was able to get her back down. So far that has been pretty decent, I will say, but I'm fully anticipating for there to be a 4-month sleep regression because we were hit hard the first time around, and I can imagine that it's probably gonna happen again. So we're just gonna savor these like decent stretches for now until the regression gets us, because it wasn't fun the first time. I remember that being like, whoa. Overall, she's quite a happy baby. Like she really just goes with the flow a lot of the time, and I think that's just like a second kid thing because they're used to like, they're used to the noise of their older sibling. They're used to just going with the flow with everything. So she's been super sweet in that way to just to be our little tag along, and she's going hard on her hands right now. But that's good. She's starting to like notice things around her, like the dog and her older sister, and so that's been really cute to see her like that she's going to start interacting with her environment, I think, a little bit more. And we're also starting to work on a bit of a schedule with her a little bit more. We're still very new to it, like very go with the flow still, but typically in the morning she will have like one really good nap where I can like put her in her bassinet and just like she has a good nap, and we can like drink her coffee and like get a few things done or whatever. This morning was a really good nap, so it was nice. And then the rest of the day is just kind of depends, because sometimes we're out doing errands, sometimes we're just doing things. So there's a lot of naps like in the wrap, sometimes in the swing, in the car seat on the go, like that sort of thing. So I like to try to get like one in a day in her bassinet, and usually that's the first nap. But then sometimes we don't end up starting her day till so late because everything just starts and happens so much later and takes so much longer. So, and then by that time Nova has to have a nap, and then we're just like, okay, well, I guess we're just we're just home for the day. I guess it's a home day. But yeah, so a little bit about myself and postpartum. Like I had mentioned briefly earlier, my recovery after birth went a lot smoother this time around because I just didn't have the trauma of the body trauma and the mental trauma of having a retained placenta, which was something I'm very grateful for this time. That was like one of the big takeaways from this birth, was how like empowering it was to not have that happen again. So that was good. I think recovery was still like similar in like how long it took me to like start to feel a little bit more like myself. Like I was still bleeding for definitely for the full 6 weeks like of your like postpartum like you know, I don't know why 6 weeks is the magic number, but I definitely was bleeding for the whole 6 weeks. And then it did stop, and then I had some like intermittent, like, oh, really? Probably getting hungry soon. I had some like spotting and stuff like that throughout, and then I'm thinking that my period might be coming back. It's probably similar timing to when it came back with Nova, so I'm not one of those lucky ones that gets like a massive break because of breastfeeding. I get it back, which is too bad. Slightly different angle for me now so I can feed her. But yeah, where was I? This pregnancy I did gain a lot more weight than I did with my first. I think partly just because my starting weight was higher than it was before like ever being pregnant. So I definitely am still carrying a lot of that still now. My stomach just still is got that like extra. And this was the same with my first pregnancy. I just had extra and I hung on to that for a long time. And yeah, so I'm not in any like rush or anything to do anything about it. But it does, like, I am at that stage where I just don't feel super comfortable in my body, if that makes sense. Like, I'm happy with it, I'm totally fine with it, but clothes don't fit like how I like them and that sort of thing. So I will hopefully be able to do something about it soon, but I'm not in a rush. I'm still only like 2.5 months postpartum. I still only gave birth like a couple months ago, so I'm not in a rush. But on with that, I also did get a few extra stretch marks. So they're just like on my hips mostly, and kind of like, so where I have scars from past surgeries, from endo surgeries, the scars would get stretch marks like off of them, if that makes sense. So I have some more stretch marks this time around than I did my first pregnancy, but it all just comes with the territory. And yeah, I know they'll fade a little bit over time, and I don't mind. I'm all right with it. So physically healing, I don't want to get into too much detail, but basically I had a rough time healing in some areas because I don't even know if I really want to talk about this. But I definitely, from pushing a baby out, well, I did have a tear and I did have to get stitches, but that seemed to heal fairly decently. There was a little bit, like one spot that took a little longer to heal. I think that's just where they like tied the stitch up, like it did the knot, so it was a little sensitive for a bit, but I think it's better now. And then yeah, just real talk, hemorrhoids were a part of my life all the pregnancy, and then especially after giving birth, and so I've had some trouble with that. But nonetheless, we're moving on. That's postpartum for you. Don't let anybody tell you differently, but also I'm not trying to scare you. It's just one of those things. It's just one of those things that happens, and you don't know about it until it's happening to you, because nobody talks about it because it's embarrassing. But physically, overall, I think I'm doing pretty good at 2.5 months postpartum. I feel good. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. And then mentally, I also feel pretty good for the most part. I think I have like some days where I'm a little bit down or struggling a little bit more, but sometimes that's like mom guilt and like feeling guilty about you know, having the TV on too much in a day because we're just trying to manage like toddler and baby, or it's like, you know, my toddler has a lot of big emotions right now and feeling overwhelmed with like handling them sometimes can be hard, and just like feeling like I feel like the passing of time is what really gets me emotional these days. Like it sends me into a full-on crying like emotional moment, because with Nova it was like you're excited for each milestone, like, oh my gosh, can't wait to see her smile for the first time, can't wait. And then with Mila, it's like every time these things happen, you're reminded, like, I know how fast this goes because I've seen it go so fast with my first child, and now my second child is already going so fast, and you're just emotional at how fast time's going by. And like, especially with her, because we do have one embryo left in the freezer and just got the bill in the mail for another year storage actually just yesterday. So we still have one more embryo, but there's no telling if it's gonna work. Like there's no knowing if that transfer will work and if 3 children are in the cards for us, and that means that there's no knowing if Mila is our last baby. And that is hard. It's been hard for me to wrap my head around a little bit. It's been really hard for me to know, like, what am I doing here? Should I be like savoring every second as like, oh, this is the last time I'll have a newborn, this is the last time I'll see my child laugh for the first time? Am I supposed to be like thinking that way, or am I not? It's like sort of confusing for me. So I feel like I could go into more detail, but essentially I'm doing mostly okay, but I have some emotional days and emotional moments, as you do, especially with like a big transition, like bringing a baby into the world. She's just staring at me, looking into my eyes, so cute. So yeah, I think that's pretty much the update. I see that I've been filming for a while already. I'm sure there's more, but mom brain is real and I barely know what day of the week it is most days, so we're just gonna be happy with what I got down. These are fun to look back on. I'm sure when she's like an adult and moving out, I'm gonna come back and look back on this and be like, wow, she was tiny. And she's growing. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and like I said, definitely check out the other videos in the description box if you want to be caught up, if by chance you're only subscribed here and not on the vlog channel, because yeah, there's lots of videos over there too. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.